Dreams of 18 by Benjamin Gayle. Read by Benjamin Gayle. Chapter 2. February. 01 February 2018. Seeing a hornet fly in through the door. Then another. Then a stream of them. There are too many for me to handle. I opt to run. Out the door, right through a hallway, and left onto stairs that wind down clockwise. At the first landing, the stream has swollen to a swarm. I have to be careful to stay low against the outside wall to avoid them. I haven't been stung yet, but I wonder why the hornets are swarming in and how I will deal with them. First, I have to escape. 02 February 2018. Working on an evaporator. It isn't functioning as I expect it to. I think it should be heating the water to help it evaporate faster, but it doesn't. I have two of these evaporator consoles set side by side with their top covers off. The two together are about the size and shape of an upright piano, with water trays where the keyboard would be. Silver pipes rise up behind the water trays, wrapping around the pump and control circuits. The black painted covers are set aside on the floor. I'm dipping my fingers into the water to gauge the temperature, though I know I should find a thermometer to do this right. As I am comparing two machines, a woman backs through my work area, pulling another evaporator on wheels. She's not wearing a top, and her skin is sunburned. She says, "Excuse me, it's just too hot." I don't know where she's been that it is too hot, or where she would get sunburned. It's comfortable here. I think it's inappropriate for her to be going around the workplace with no top on. She moves the evaporator up next to the two that I'm working on and says, "Here's another one for you," without indicating what might be wrong with it or why she's brought it to me. Back to the problem of why these machines are not heating the water. I don't see any heating elements in the water trays or on the pipes, and I don't see any place where I could easily install a heater. Maybe they're not supposed to have heaters. The woman comes back again, this time more sunburned and wearing a white bra. I want to ask her about the machines and how they're supposed to work, but she won't stop talking long enough for me to say anything. Later, I'm working on another evaporator at a house with wooden floors. This one is plugged in and running with its cover on. The water in the tray is still not warm. A woman that I don't recognize arrives with two dogs. The smaller one, tiny with black curly hair, runs to the door that leads to the basement and starts barking. She says it always does that. The larger dog, with short, straight, brown and white hair, sits on the kitchen floor watching the other dog. I don't recognize this place, or woman, or dogs. Maybe I'm supposed to be repairing the evaporator. 4 February 2018. Visiting an unfamiliar library. I walk up a long flight of steps in a stairwell that winds up counterclockwise, with white steps and silver handrails. The entrance door is to the right, at a wide landing. Inside it is dim and quiet. I don't see any books, just rows of tables and chairs. Some of the tables have microfilm readers on them. I wonder if all the books are on film now. Steps along the back wall go up to an open mezzanine. I see tables up there with more and different equipment. I don't know what that's for, and I'm hesitant to go up there and find out. I sit down at a small circular table that has dirty gray cloth placemats and napkins. While I sit, trying to remember what I need to do, why I came here, a group of important-looking people comes through, talking. I try to straighten the placemat and napkin to smooth them out. Maybe I should go upstairs to get out of their way. Watching a hillside erode. I know it's artificial, and I think this is an experiment. Water flows down the reddish rock in irregular streams, carving, revealing the variations in the density and cohesiveness of the material. Some washes away quickly, while some stays, defining the slope and the path of the water. Changing clothes means changing roles. I don't know what I'll be doing next, but my clothes are blocking the audio console. I have to put them away somewhere. Standing at a waist-high stone railing, looking out over the ocean from high on a cliff. 3 shallow pots sit on the railing, each with similar but different miniature landscapes. They look like sections of a golf course. A man appears on the other side of the railing and says he's counting on me, trusting me. For what? I suspect some unasked-for, unwanted obligation. He disappears when I look back down at the potted landscapes. Later, watching another hillside erode. This one is smaller, dark gray, and outside. At first it is dry, with barely noticeable streaks where the water had run before. Then it starts to rain. I think I should go inside, but I stay and watch the water running down, carving through a yellowish layer. 5 February 2018. Looking at a store inventory, a man is describing the contents of clear plastic containers stacked on shelves. Most of it is pasta in various shapes. The pasta-making machines are lined up in another room, one for each different shape. Each machine has a stainless steel tray and a forming and cutting mechanism. One still has leftover blocks and scraps of raw material, thick blocks that the machines reform and cut. The pieces look like cheese, but are much lighter. 6 February 2018. Escaping a conflict. I'm in a large, dirty room that looks like a church without pews, wearing a full-length robe and face mask. I have 2 plastic bags that make crackly sounds when I pick them up, and some other items. There are people lined up along the left side of the room, hiding behind curtains in alcoves along the wall. They all hold guns which they point toward the front of the room. They're waiting for something, or someone. I'm tired of waiting here, so I pick up my things and move toward the back of the room, making noise that disturbs the people with guns. They hiss and motion with their guns for me to put my things back down. I do, then take off my mask and start talking to them. This agitates them. I'm apparently not who they thought I was. Now they motion for me to leave, so I pick up my things and again head toward the back of the room. One of them accompanies me outside to a circular fountain where we discuss the situation. I don't understand what's going on. When I arrive home, she chastises me for going out. 8 February 2018. Going swimming. I remember the old saying, swim, but check the water for sharks first. I look out over the greenish water, translucent near the surface. I don't see any sharks, but there is a pair of rays gliding through the water, switching their long, thin tails. then more, a swarm of them moving in the same general direction. Then I'm floating in the water, trying to swim and avoid the rays at the same time, and as successful as avoiding a cloud of jellyfish. There are too many to avoid contact, and one stings me in my leg. I yell for help. That might be futile, but I have to try. Some strangers come along in a small boat and pick me up, then take me to a dentist's office for treatment. I remember being wheeled down a white corridor on a bed, then nothing else until here I am in the waiting room at the dentist's office. She is sitting in a chair, asking me questions while I walk back and forth and down corridors. Sometimes we're outside. I carry a can of wasp spray and a can of something else that I take sips from. I follow a corridor lined with cabinets and shelves and coat racks to an end that is closed and cluttered. She asks again if I see the insect flying around. We're outside again. She's sitting on a stone bench, back against a stone wall, along a paved path. Open greenery surrounds us. The insect flies a loop around her, then past me to land on a stack of bales of something green. The tiny bits sticking out look like clover. I think the insect is a housefly. I could spray it, but I don't want to spray the bales of stuff, so I try to swat it with my hand. I miss, and it flies away over the wall and disappears. Then we're inside the dentist's office again. I am crawling, sliding on the floor, over orange carpet that's covered in plastic in places, and through a channel bounded by brightly painted metal barriers. I think I shouldn't be crawling around on the dirty floor, but it's too late. I get up, brush myself off, and continue around to the lobby. I have to wait in the doorway for traffic to clear. Cars are parked along the walls, and one blocks the receptionist's window as it backs into a parking space. While waiting, I notice the large glass window along the left side of the room. There's a laundromat on the other side. I cross to the receptionist's window, frosted panes of sliding glass, and tap the call button. The window opens. 2 women are on the other side. One of them asks me to wait. I don't understand what she says the first time, and she patiently says it again. Okay. The window closes. I look back around at the parked cars. They all have laundry baskets attached to them. 10 February 2018. Sitting in a car, waiting at a stoplight. I'm second in line behind another car at this T intersection. The driver of the car in front of me opens the door, jumps out, and runs away. Now that car rolls back and hits my car. Its weight is too much for my car's brakes. I work the hand and foot brakes, pulling and pressing, but my car moves backward anyway. I don't want to hit the car behind me, but I don't know what else I can do. Later, driving downhill, I have to stop because there's a bicycle parked in the road. A black case is lying beside it, maybe for some instrument. I'm blocking traffic while just trying to decide what to do. Maybe I should leave the car and ride the bicycle instead. Waiting to start work. I'm standing on a polished concrete floor, surrounded by pallets with piles of things that I don't recognize on them. I walk toward a table in the middle of the floor where the supervisor is sitting. He tells me that today, everyone is encouraged to wear skates, like her, pointing to a woman behind me. I don't recognize her, but she's wearing roller skates with green boots and white wheels. I get a pair of skates, I don't know from where, and put them on. These skates have translucent silvery wheels. I worry about the wheels slipping on the smooth concrete, but they don't. I skate around my work area, slowly, carefully, before venturing out to other areas of the building, down wide aisles past various equipment and storage racks. In many places, there is sawdust on the floor, but that doesn't seem to be a problem for the skates. As I go, I make more ambitious maneuvers, turning, spinning, and skid stopping. Attending class. I'm new at this school. The building is old, and only part of it is used. The same thin carpet in blues and oranges is everywhere, spread out loose, sections overlapping, sometimes piled several layers deep. I'm walking between classes when I get lost. I remember how to get back to the front entrance from here. Maybe I'll be able to find my way from there. The entrance is a single wide door that opens to this hallway. Waist-high brown ceramic pots stand on either side of the door. A small gray mouse with large floppy ears is trying to climb out of one of the pots. A small dog is in the other pot, barking in the direction of the mouse and trying to get out to chase it. I push the dog back down into the pot, intending to help give the mouse a better chance, then think that maybe I shouldn't have done that. I turn away from the pots and go into the receptionist's office, directly across the hall from the entrance door. She's not here, but a gray cat is. It walks across the room, not paying any attention to me. I continue on through the door on the other side of the office, into an older and neglected area. The trim on the door frames, baseboards, and ceiling have ornate carvings, or maybe moldings. I can't tell for sure because everything is covered in thick layers of pastel paint. Unused furniture and carpets are piled up here. I go to the right, all the way to the far end of the building. One room here has bedroom furniture. A worn and dusty bed has boards along the long sides. The wrong way around, it seems. A wardrobe cabinet and shelves are all empty. I follow the edge of the building, through a large empty room with high ceiling and chandeliers, and into a storage room. Floor to ceiling, shelves hold food and drink and personal hygiene and cleaning supplies. Here I find two boys arguing about what to use on the insects they found. I interrupt to tell them what I have used before, the spray. We find a bottle of spray, and I follow them out, through several rooms, to a wide closet with a sliding door. It is dirty, neglected like everything else here. The insects are in the right-hand corner of the closet. One of them takes a shot with the spray, but the insect that it hits turns into a mouse. I tell them that happened to me once. I was spraying an insect that was crawling on a window screen, and it turned into a mouse. The two just shake their heads. They argue about using the spray, then set it aside and use their fingers instead, picking up individual insects and squashing them. I worry that the insects will bite and sting them, but they seem to have no fear. One of them holds up an insect that looks like a twig with many short, fat legs. He says, "Look at this spider." "Well, that isn't a spider. It's shaped wrong and has too many legs." I leave them and go back to the storage room. Now there are some older students here, pouring various liquids into clear plastic bottles. One of them grins and points to a shelf with bottles of liquor. I don't think that's allowed here. They take their drinks into an adjoining room with couches and chairs, a makeshift lounge. I notice a clock on the wall. Class started 10 minutes ago, so I'm late. The others don't seem to care. I head for the door that leads to another corridor. One of the group calls to me. You going out? I tell him that I'm late for class. He hands me a paper with red and black print, an advertisement for some event, maybe an invitation. I take it and leave, wondering how I'll find my way back to class. 11 February 2018. Rowing a boat up a small river. Or maybe down. I can't tell. I'm in a small, flat-bottomed wooden rowboat. The water is calm, and no more than twice the width of the boat. I wonder if I should be doing this, but keep going anyway. The narrow river opens up suddenly to a lake. To the right, it goes on for as far as I can see. The river continues straight ahead. I continue to follow it. The channel narrows further. Rocks protrude from the water, and the boat gets stuck. This is as far as I can go. I have to get out, pick the boat up, and carry it back to where it will float again. I head back past the lake in the direction that I came. I don't know where I'll go now. Later, I'm in the boat on a larger lake. Snow and ice rise from the shore at steep angles. A concrete pier juts out from the shore, high over my head. In one place, where the shore is more level, a polar bear rends a carcass, bloodying the snow and itself. Another bear swims by in the water. This worries me. Someone has set up camp on a ledge above where the polar bear is eating. I wonder if I can find a safe place to camp. The bloody bear jumps into the water and swims past me, leaving me to float alone and wonder. Following directions. I have an envelope that contains a folded piece of paper and 2 cards, all with writing in green ink. The paper has lines numbered 1 and 3, with circles around the numbers, and notes that I don't understand. The cards are numbered 1 and 3 also, with circles around the numbers, and they have specific directions. I try to follow the directions on the first card. It takes me into a building, onto an elevator to a particular floor, through corridors, up and down stairs, onto another elevator, and finally to a door. I argue with the elevator operator because he won't let me off at the correct floor. Showing him my papers, the envelope and paper and cards with directions, doesn't help the situation. I don't know how that ended. Now I'm in a car in a large parking garage, following the instructions on the second card. I have to leave the car here and walk along a series of ramps. The final goal is off a ramp marked S8. I don't know what that is, but there's traffic along the way. Clearing a scene at midnight. A group of us is outside at a downtown intersection that is blocked off. Some of us wear police uniforms. Lights on patrol cars flash and strobe. It's dark, and the pavement is damp. It must be warm as some of the people are wearing short-sleeved shirts. The leader of our group holds a wireless microphone, talking, commenting, informing. His voice echoes from every speaker in the patrol cars, on the officers' mobile radios, and from loudspeakers mounted on poles. It is just past midnight, the end of our normal shift. Time for us to go home. I hope nothing happens that would require us to stay late. I'm not sure why we're here, but it's been calm and quiet. I'm ready to leave, but the leader does not dismiss us. He passes the microphone to a woman that I don't recognize. She talks enthusiastically, but I don't understand what she's saying. 13 February 2018. Shopping in a foreign country. There's more variety and luxury here than I expect, based on preconceived notions from my own country. I recognize many products. The content is similar, but the brands and packaging are different. I won't purchase anything today because I'm worried about my finances. I don't know how I'll make it here. My sister and her and a young girl that I don't recognize accompany the shopping cart to a busy checkout where there are long lines of full carts. A man and a woman ahead of us argue about the contents of their basket and wave for us to go ahead of them while they sort out their issues. I move on to the front of the store to wait at the entrance. Here are promotional displays of luxury foods. One has bags of strawberry candies in red and gold wrappers. A man approaches me from the checkout. It is the cashier, gesturing for me to go back to the checkout with him. I don't understand what he's saying. At the checkout, I find that they don't have enough money. Do I have any? Some, but I'm reluctant to contribute because I don't know how I'll get more. I pull 18 crumpled $1 bills from my pocket. The cashier looks at them doubtfully, but accepts them and does some calculations. Still not enough. I don't understand how much more they need because there's an exchange rate conversion involved. I still have 2 dimes in my pocket that I haven't told anybody about. A stranger behind us offers a donation, then someone else, probably just to get the line moving again. It didn't look like much money. As we walk together to the exit, I wonder if the people here will accept us. This is a much better quality of life experience than I had expected, based on early impressions from the news and propaganda that I had heard at home. 15 February 2018. Tracking an unidentified spacecraft. HQ says it's on a trajectory to land on Luna. 2 of us are following it in another spacecraft. As the unidentified craft moves, it sheds particles, making a glittery, glowing trail that we follow. I worry that flying through that particle trail might damage our ship, so we maneuver to follow outside the curve on a lower angle approach to the surface. We land within sight of the other craft and prepare to go out, to approach it. I'm concerned about my pressure suit. It seems too flimsy and insubstantial, a thin, tight-fitting fabric and a bubble helmet that seals at a ring around the neck. She gets out the tester to make sure that the suit is safe to wear. It measures the electrical resistance of the fabric from point to point. All okay. We suit up and go outside, up and over a small hill, and down into the depression that the other craft landed in. It's a fat, upright cylinder, as wide as it is tall. Around the base of the other craft, cats. I wonder what they're doing here, and why they don't have pressure suits. 16 February 2018. Loading up the car. I'm packing for a trip. The car is nearly full when she comes out and asks where she'll put her things. I haven't left enough room for her, so I have to unpack and reduce. She asks if I've seen her toothpaste, the special stuff called BBC Smiles. No, and I don't know where my toothpaste is either. 17 February 2018. Arranging pieces of colored wax to form a picture. I have to bake it to melt the pieces and save it. Some get flakes of white wax sprinkled over the hot picture as snow. 18 February 2018. Sitting in the yard after dark. We had a cookout and now sit on folding chairs talking. I see a light moving across the sky, leaving a smoke trail. "Hey, it's a rocket," I say, and point as it flies over us. I look behind me, in the direction it was heading, and see a small explosion like fireworks. Streamers of sparks burst up from behind some houses, not too far away. That was unusual. A while later, another rocket flies over, and then another, but they land farther away. The fourth rocket hits close and starts a fire. I worry that the neighborhood will burn. We all agree that the best strategy is to leave and save what we can just in case. I have to take my notebooks and propose that we should all take different cars to save the cars. That sparks an argument. She can't drive a manual transmission. She'd ruin the clutch. But I'm not worried about that, considering the circumstances. They're dubious about the value of the old blue Toyota, but agree to try. We leave the house in formation, me following my sister through the neighborhood, trees and grassy lawns, curving streets and hills. We turn right onto First Street, follow it for a while, then pull up along the curb to the right in front of an old brick building. My sister says it's a library. It doesn't look like a library from out here. A wide sidewalk wraps around a corner of the building. There's a single wooden entrance door. We go in and through a narrow hallway, past a glass-walled room that looks like a museum exhibit. There are 2 pickup trucks and various old things on racks and tables. A woman is opening up for the day. She keeps trying to push one of the pickup trucks back into position, but it just rolls away again. A dark blue Toyota with large tires. We enter the room and look around. More old stuff. I don't know what the significance of this exhibit is. I pick up an old computer magazine dated 1978 and flip through, looking at pictures and prices. So much has changed since then. Looking at a broken brick. I'm listening to someone who is trying to explain something about archaeology. The fracture patterns in the brick are clues to how it was used and why it failed. I can't follow his reasoning. Then he shows me a computer model with the stress lines highlighted, exaggerated. The model runs backward, the brick healing itself and taking its place in a larger structure, a square building with rounded towers at the corners. I still don't understand how he figured that out from a broken brick. 19 February 2018. Racing at an outdoor track. There is a meeting before the race, an informal discussion where I mention how long it's been since I last raced. It's a short ride along a concrete path from the pit area to the track entrance, and a right turn to a short tunnel that leads to a scaffold many levels high. Climbing the scaffold is somehow a trial to qualify for racing. I climb up slowly, carefully pulling my bicycle up behind me. It's raining, and that makes the metal bars of the scaffold slick. Out on the track, warming up before the race, I'm not sure that I deserve to be here. I know that I'm not the fastest. How can I use that to my advantage? 22 February 2018. Running out of work. I'm at my workbench, not paying attention to what is going on around me. When I look up, I don't see anyone else. I get up and walk through the array of workbenches toward the office. Everyone else is cleaning. The 3 rows of workbenches closest to the office are bare. Everything has been removed, and one of my coworkers is cleaning them with a sudsy brush. Others are lining up a long row of plastic folding tables that they had cleaned. I had never seen them without their covers. From here to the office, everything is bare, tables and shelves and floor. I'm not sure what's going on, but I decide to go back to my workbench and try to clean it. If that's the wrong thing to do, someone will probably tell me. Before I can move anything off my bench, someone comes through, calling for a general meeting in the office. There's no work to do, and won't be any for the rest of the day, so we all have to leave. I file out with the others. Some are over-eager at the opportunity to leave early. On the way out, I have to find a trash can where I can dispose of this dirty tissue that I've been carrying around. At the exit, there's trouble. I can't clock out because I don't have a badge. The guard at the exit turnstile stops me and questions me about it. I've never had a badge. I don't know what else to tell him. I'm embarrassed at holding up the exit line. Outside, I follow the walkway down and around to the right alongside the building. A group of people has gathered here to watch a display. Some people are holding up a strange vehicle, a yellow car, on top of a pink VW bus. The 2 are blended together smoothly so that the bus looks like a skirt for the yellow car. The people dance around, making the vehicle dance. There's an interview with the man who owns and lives in the vehicle through a side window slit open. He talks about the authenticity of the 2 vehicles, how they were joined together, and how difficult it is to clean paint off of the frames. Someone plays a recorded interview for comparison. The same man in the same vehicle several decades ago, saying the same things, only looking younger. 23 February 2018. Unpacking a tape recorder. I'm working on a project where I need to record sounds and voices to supplement my written report. A man brings in a bundle wrapped in coarse green cloth, sized and shaped similar to the old cassette tape recorders that had handles for carrying them around. Inside the green cloth bag is another green cloth bag. Inside that is a soft padded blue bag. That contains some accessories, and another blue bag that itself contains the recorder. It is tiny compared to the old ones that I used to use. The accessories, tape heads, and connectors don't fit this model. It looks old and worn, and I worry that it won't work. Charging the battery in an old green car. I'm trying to get it running so I can drive it to work. I worry that it's too large to drive safely. There's also an old beige car, but it's in worse condition. I get confused about the capacity of the charging station and of the alternator in the car. I don't want to overload them. Then I notice that the star that the charging station is orbiting is about to explode, so I have to move the car and the charging station to a safe distance. Visiting at an old familiar house. I have not been outside since I got here, more than a week ago. Other people are here. I don't remember who they are, but they look familiar. Maybe relatives. I'm planning to go home soon. That makes me think about the things that I could have done and places I could have visited during my stay here. It's too late now for any of that. I take a shower, but have to get dressed in a commons area with other people around. I want some privacy, but I know that I won't get it here. I drop my towel and go to put my underwear on. My feet get stuck in the leg holes. It takes too long to get my feet through and the underwear pulled up. Then I put on the rest of my clothes, jeans and a t-shirt. Then I put coveralls on over that because I feel the need for extra protection. I'm probably dressed too warmly for the trip home, but I'm resolved to suffer through it. As I'm packing my things, I notice some brackets mounted to the wall, metal loops hanging over plastic bins. I don't know what those are for. 25 February 2018. Watching a movie in a theater. The last scene is a funeral for the main character. At the end, his body rises up, levitates, and moves out through the projection screen into the theater. A hologram, I assume. I'm the last person left in the theater, and wonder if this is worth staying for. I follow the hologram as it slowly makes its funeral procession out of the theater, through the main corridor, and out into the parking lot. It crosses the parking lot and disappears into traffic as I watch from the theater entrance. 26 February 2018. Riding in a car with my sister. We're going to a place where she used to live because she wants to check on a vehicle that's still parked there. Another woman rides with us. I don't know who she is. We travel down a narrow road through green forest to a place with low houses around a parking area. I don't see the vehicle, and she seems to be worried about what might have happened to it. Coming home on a bicycle, maybe from work. I ride up the street to my house, through vehicles that are parked in the road in no apparent order. Riding between two parked cars, I have to avoid an unopened soda bottle. When I reach the house, I turn around and ride back down to the end of the street, thinking that I might need to go somewhere else. Looking up to the left, I see a group of people up the road, standing in the snow. No, I turn around and go back to the house. I lean the bicycle against the porch, to the left of the steps. There are packages on the porch, supplies for a printer that I no longer own, sent by a company that I no longer work for. The elaborate packaging looks expensive. The packing list says that more is on the way. On the other side of the porch is a pile of junk that I still need to deal with. Maybe I should try riding the 3-speed next time. No, that's the one that I rode today. Watching an egg-shaped capsule travel across from a neighbor's yard. It skips over the garden and tumbles to a stop near some bushes. I resolve to ignore it. Then I hear the crying. A baby. The plastic egg is a protective device for the young child to be outside in. I move toward the egg, but my sister gets there first. She seems to know what to do. It had come unplugged. I can see the cord stretched out across the neighbor's yard. The baby wanders off while my sister has gone back inside the house for something. 28 February 2018. Watching a documentary. The narrator pushes an old blue bicycle from one topic to the next. In the beginning, I'm only watching passively. At one of his stops, the narrator engages me in the process, presenting me with a machine that I will have to learn how to operate and then explain to everyone else watching. The narrator and other participants all move on to other topics while I figure this out. I learn by doing, as instructed by a man who doesn't speak English very well. The machine outputs slabs of ice, roughly triangular, to an upper chute. I have to pick them up and place them on a lower chute and gauge the thickness of the 3 of them stacked together to confirm the setup of the machine. The gauge is built into the lower end of the chute, and I have to raise the caliper end by turning a knob so the slabs will fit under it. I only have to measure once. Before I learn what to do with the slabs of ice, I hear a commotion from where the narrator is. I don't remember presenting my topic.